one of the most visited castles in France, Château de Chambord stands as one of the most striking examples of Renaissance architecture. As we approached this massive beauty, we were immediately stunned. The chateau is surrounded by lush forest and a winding river. From the outside, the intricate roofline of spires, turrets, and chimneys gives the impression of an entire skyline resting on top of a single building. When we visited, we were dwarfed by its sheer size and the seemingly endless array of windows and towers. It's colossal. The chateau grounds felt like a small city. We wondered a lot about how it remained intact like this for so long, and in some ways we felt like it should have been more rugged than it is because of the many centuries and wars that have passed. Yet here it is, standing proudly in the middle of a vast forest. There's a lot to see, from the gorgeous architecture and manicured gardens to the very famous double helix staircase. So let's explore together and immerse ourselves in the beauty of Château de Chambord, right here on Saving Castles. Château de Chambord, a castle fit for a king. Funny enough, after the castle was finished, the kings of France barely even stayed here. Construction began around 1519 under King Francis I, who wanted a grand hunting lodge that would show off his power and taste. Hunting was a huge deal for the French royal court, and the surrounding forests were perfect for that. But here's the odd thing. According to several accounts, King Francis didn't really stay long at Chambord. People say he might have only spent a few weeks there total. You might wonder, why build something so huge and then not use it? Well, one big issue was heating. The ceilings are ridiculously high and the place is enormous. Even with over 200 fireplaces, it was tough to keep warm, so it wasn't exactly cozy. Even King Louis XIV would come for grand parties or hunting expeditions, but then head back to more comfortable palaces. It's a much different scenario today, however, because we have electrical heating now, so our visit was as comfortable as can be. That is, when we weren't climbing so many stairs.
What's wrong with you?
I'm old. I just came up the flight of stairs in this tower. I just need to take a minute.
I'm okay. But speaking of stairs, one of the coolest features and one that fascinates just about everyone is the double helix staircase at the center of the chateau. Picture two spiral staircases winding around each other, so you can go up one side without running into someone climbing the other. There's a popular story that Leonardo da Vinci designed it, but that's still up for debate. Leonardo did spend his final years in France under Francis I's patronage, so some accounts assume his involvement. Some historians say it was just inspired by his sketches, while others think another architect was behind it. But whoever created the magnificent staircase, it's definitely an innovation ahead of its time. Once inside, you'll see over 400 rooms. We noticed that a lot of them have a smaller layout, and this is because of the challenging heating situation. The smaller the rooms, the easier they are to heat. Many are unfurnished now, but you can still explore these huge halls and climb different levels to look down into the courtyard. It's almost easy to get lost in the corridors. There are that many. It's fun to imagine what it must have been like when construction was going on, with teams of builders and artists laboring to create a castle worthy of the king's ambitions. Despite all its grandeur, Chambord didn't become a permanent home for any French monarch. It was mostly a showpiece, somewhere to impress guests or hold events, but not a place where you'd want to live for months. Over the centuries, it sat empty for long stretches, but Chambord was relatively spared from the ravages of the French Revolution. While the chateau is ransacked and much of the furniture sold off, the monument itself escapes destruction. But it then endures an extended period of neglect. Only in 1809 does Napoleon hand it over to Marshal Louis-Alexandre Berthier as a token of recognition for his services. But Berthier does little more than pass through, and soon his widow requests permission to sell off the large and indifferently maintained mansion. In 1821, the entire estate of Chambord was offered through a nationwide fundraising campaign to the Duke of Bordeaux, who oversaw maintenance of the chateau and its park. He has the estate administered by a steward, undertakes major restoration projects, and officially opens the chateau to the public. Following his death in 1883, the estate was inherited by his nephews, the Princes of Bourbon-Parma. Since 1930, the chateau and its park have been state property. It's a wonderful thing to have chateaus like Chambord be open to the public, if only for us to admire the architecture. Going up to the roof was one of my favorite moments. It feels like you're walking through a forest of chimneys and turrets. Looking up at them reminded me of the castle on Beauty and the Beast, which is quite fitting as Chambord is known to have inspired Beast's castle. The view from up there is incredible. You can see the sprawling park, which is actually the largest enclosed forest in Europe. It still hosts hunting events sometimes, preserving a bit of the chateau's original purpose. During our tour, we learned that Château de Chambord also served as a safe haven for artwork during World War II. Some of the Louvre's most famous pieces were temporarily stored here to protect them from the conflict. It's amazing to think that priceless art was once hidden away in these very rooms, kept safe behind these ancient walls. The estate around the castle spans over 13,000 acres, with one of the longest walls in France enclosing it. It's perfect for long walks or bike rides. If you're planning a visit, try to arrive early in the day, especially if you want to avoid lunch crowds at the on-site restaurants. The chateau is located in the Loire-et-Cher region, around 2 hours from Paris by car. You can also take a train from Paris to Blois-Chambord station and then catch a local bus or shuttle directly to the estate. Chambord generally opens daily, with longer hours, around 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. in peak season, roughly April through October, and shorter hours in the off-season. Check the official website for exact times and ticket information. Parking is available on site, but it can fill up quickly on busy days. If you're looking for food, there are a few restaurants and cafes near the entrance. Just keep in mind that seating can be limited around lunchtime, so planning a morning arrival often makes the whole experience more relaxed. And did you know that you can actually stay within castle grounds? There are many other wonderful accommodations near Château de Chambord, as well as a number of chateaux to visit. Seeing Château de Chambord in person really highlights how ambitious the Renaissance era was, both in design and innovation. For us, it left a real impression and made us pause and think, how did they pull this off? Even centuries after it was built, it still amazes every visitor, and we highly recommend visiting at least once. We hope you enjoyed this tour. Subscribe to our channel so you can stay updated on our upcoming chateau tours, interviews, and deep dives on French countryside living. Know anyone who loves castles too? Share this video with them. We'll see you on our next one.